This week on Inside Travel Talk, Mark returns from Norway after tracing his family history north of the Arctic Circle. We'll reveal the airline seat mistakes that could ruin your next flight, talk about one of the most unique resorts in Costa Rica, and answer a listener's question about visiting Pearl Harbor. Plus, is Norwegian Cruise Line's haven really worth the extra money? And why are river cruises becoming one of Europe's hottest vacations? That's all coming up next on Inside Travel Talk.
The Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show presented by BluePlanetVacations.com contains travel deals, promotions, and offers that may be time-sensitive. All offers and information were accurate when the show aired. Travel deals and offers change constantly and are capacity-controlled and subject to change without notice.
Explore your world. It's the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show, presented by BluePlanetVacations.com. Call or text the show now, 801-649-3700, 801-649-3700, and check out the podcast at InsideTravelTalk.com.
Hello and welcome to Inside Travel Talk. I'm Justin, and as always, I'm joined by travel expert Mark Feldman. We have a great show lined up today covering vacations, cruises, travel news, listener questions, and some excellent travel deals. Last time we talked, you were actually in Narvik, Norway, about 150 miles north of the Arctic Circle.
It's good to be back. Norway was amazing. This trip was focused on family history and visiting locations where my ancestors lived. We spent time researching local records, visiting churches, cemeteries, family farms, and some of the communities where my family originated.
I know family history travel is something you've become very passionate about.
It really is. There's something special about standing where your ancestors stood and seeing the landscapes they saw every day. It transforms history from something you read in a book into something personal. One thing I've noticed is that family history travel is growing tremendously. More people are discovering their roots through DNA testing and genealogy research, and then they want to visit those places in person.
And you've actually planned several family history trips for clients this summer.
We have. We've helped families travel to Scandinavia, England, Germany, Scotland, Ireland, and several other destinations. These trips are highly customized because every family story is different.
And if listeners would like help planning a family history trip, contact Blue Planet Vacations at 888-718-7717. That's 888-718-7717.
We'd love to help.
Let's jump into our travel news this week. Our first story talks about 7 seat selection mistakes that can ruin your next flight. Mark, this is one of those topics that sounds simple until you realize how much difference a seat can make.
Absolutely. A seat can make or break a flight experience. One of the biggest mistakes travelers make is simply choosing a seat based on where it appears on the booking screen without researching the aircraft. Not all seats are created equal.
That's where one of your favorite tools comes in.
Yes, I always recommend seatmaps.com. It's one of the best resources available. You can look up your exact aircraft and see color-coded seat maps showing advantages and disadvantages. Maybe a seat has extra legroom. Maybe it's close to a lavatory. Maybe it has limited recline. Maybe it's a window seat that doesn't actually have a window. All of those details matter.
I learned that lesson the hard way years ago. I booked what I thought was a great window seat and spent 5 hours staring at a wall panel because there wasn't actually a window there.
Exactly. Those things happen more often than people realize. Another mistake is selecting seats too close to lavatories or galley areas. The constant traffic can make it difficult to sleep. Parents traveling with children may want proximity to restrooms, but many travelers prefer a quieter area.
What about people who automatically choose the back of the plane because it's cheaper?
Sometimes that works, but often boarding and deplaning take longer. It really depends on your priorities. The key takeaway is to spend 5 minutes researching your aircraft before selecting your seat. That small effort can dramatically improve your trip.
Our next story asks a fascinating question. Why is ginger ale the best drink to order on your next flight?
I love this article because ginger ale has been my go-to airplane drink for years.
And if I remember right, cranberry juice is your backup choice.
That's right. It's kind of a tradition. Ginger ale first, cranberry juice second. What's interesting is that there's actual science behind why ginger ale tastes so good on airplanes. The reduced cabin pressure and dry air change how we perceive flavors. Sweetness becomes less noticeable, while ginger ale's crisp and sharp flavors remain prominent. That makes it taste drier and more refreshing in the air than it does on the ground.
So people aren't imagining it.
Not at all. There's also the stomach factor. Flying can cause mild nausea or discomfort for some travelers, and ginger has long been associated with helping settle the stomach. Whether it's science or tradition, ginger ale and air travel just seem to go together.
I'm probably going to notice that on my next flight.
You will. Once you start paying attention, it becomes a fun travel ritual.
Our third news story is about overwater bungalows. For years, people immediately thought of Bora Bora, Tahiti, or the Maldives when they heard the phrase overwater bungalow. But that's changing.
It really is. Demand for overwater accommodations has exploded, and resorts throughout the Caribbean, Mexico, and Central America are finding ways to bring this experience closer to home. For a long time, travelers had to fly halfway around the world to stay in one of these iconic accommodations, but now there are more options than ever in destinations that are much easier to reach from the United States. One of my favorite examples is the Palafitos Overwater Bungalows in Riviera Maya, Mexico. I've stayed there, and it really is a fantastic experience. You get all the romance and exclusivity of an overwater bungalow with private decks, direct water access, incredible Caribbean views, and personalized service, but you're only a few hours from most major U.S. cities.
That definitely sounds a lot easier than flying all the way to French Polynesia.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons we're seeing this trend grow so quickly. Travelers love the idea of an overwater bungalow, but they don't always want to spend 2 days getting there. There are several newer projects around the Caribbean and Central America. Belize is becoming a major player in this space. One of the most exciting developments is the future Six Senses Belize project, which will feature an entire resort built over the water. That's a concept we really haven't seen much of in this part of the world. Antigua has also become a destination for overwater accommodations. Resorts like Royalton Antigua and the newer Royalton Chic Antigua offer overwater suites with glass floors, private plunge pools, overwater hammocks, and direct ocean access. They're giving travelers many of the same features they would expect in the South Pacific without the long-haul flight.
And I think that's what people are looking for. The experience more than the specific destination.
Absolutely. People want that feeling of waking up over the water, sitting on a private deck, watching fish swim below you through a glass floor, and having direct access to the ocean from their room. We're also seeing destinations like Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Belize, Antigua, and Mexico continue expanding their luxury overwater offerings. Even some resorts in Costa Rica and Panama are experimenting with overwater-style accommodations. The concept has become one of the most requested room categories in travel.
Why don't we see even more of them?
That's actually interesting. Building overwater bungalows is incredibly complicated and expensive. You need calm water, environmental approvals, specialized engineering, and construction techniques that can withstand tropical weather and saltwater conditions. That's one reason they're still considered a luxury product and why availability remains limited.
So if someone has always dreamed about staying in one, they may not need to go quite as far as they once thought.
Exactly. Bora Bora and the Maldives are still the gold standard, and they're absolutely amazing. But today, travelers can find incredible overwater bungalow experiences much closer to home in Mexico, Belize, Antigua, Jamaica, and several other Caribbean destinations. It's one of the biggest luxury travel trends we're seeing right now.
Let's move into our hotel profile of the week. We're heading to Costa Rica. Costa Rica remains one of the hottest destinations in the Americas.
It is, and for good reason. Costa Rica combines rainforests, beaches, wildlife, adventure activities, and luxury accommodations in a relatively compact country. One area I consistently recommend is Arenal volcano. If someone asks me how to structure a Costa Rica vacation, my answer is spend a few nights in Arenal and then several nights at one of the beaches.
What makes Arenal special?
You have the volcano, rainforest, waterfalls, hanging bridges, hot springs, wildlife viewing, zip lining, river rafting, and hiking. There's always something to do. And that brings us to the Springs Resort and Spa. This is one of my favorite resorts in Costa Rica.
Why does it stand out?
The views are incredible. Almost everywhere on property offers stunning views of Arenal volcano. The resort has multiple naturally heated hot spring pools, each with different temperatures. Guests can spend hours moving from pool to pool while enjoying volcano views. The rooms are spacious and luxurious with large balconies. But what really separates the springs is the range of activities. They have horseback riding, kayaking, tubing, wildlife experiences, nature programs, and access to Club Rio, which offers adventure activities right along the river. Families love it. Couples love it. Multi-generational groups love it.
So this isn't just a hotel where you sleep.
Not even close. It becomes part of the destination itself. Many resorts are simply places to stay. The Springs is a major attraction. You could spend several days there without running out of things to do.
And after Arenal, you typically suggest heading to the coast.
Exactly. Arenal gives you rainforest, volcanoes, and an adventure. Then you balance that with beach relaxation. That combination creates one of the best vacation experiences in Costa Rica.
Our main travel topic comes from Marcus, who texted our listener line wanting to know about visiting Pearl Harbor. This is one of those destinations that every American should experience at least once.
I agree completely. Pearl Harbor is much more than a historical site. It's a place of remembrance and reflection. Most visitors begin with the USS Arizona Memorial, which sits above the remains of the battleship sunk during the December 7th, 1941 attack. The experience is powerful because you're standing above a ship that remains a final resting place for many sailors.
What should people know before visiting?
First, reserve tickets in advance whenever possible. Second, allow more time than you think you need. Many people plan for a couple hours and discover they could easily spend an entire day. Beyond the Arizona Memorial, there's the Battleship Missouri Memorial. That ship is where World War II officially ended when Japan signed the surrender documents.
That's a fascinating contrast. The site where America entered the war and the ship where the war officially ended.
Exactly. You can literally connect the beginning and end of America's involvement in World War II during one visit. Another attraction I strongly recommend is the Pacific Fleet Submarine Museum. You can tour a real submarine and learn about the critical role submarines played during the war. Then there's the Pearl Harbor Aviation Museum. If you enjoy aviation history, this is outstanding. Many exhibits are housed in historic hangars that still bear evidence from the attack itself.
That's incredible.
It really helps visitors understand the scope of what happened that day. The museums tell stories of courage, sacrifice, innovation, and resilience. Justin, one thing I tell clients is to prepare emotionally. This isn't a theme park attraction. It's a memorial. People often leave with a much deeper appreciation for history than they expected.
That's a great point. Before we wrap up segment 1, let's talk about our travel deal of the week. That music sets the stage for our travel deal this week.
This week's deal takes us back to Hawaii. Delta Vacations is offering up to $250 off Hawaii vacation packages plus bonus Sky Miles for Sky Miles members. The promotion runs through June 30th.
And Hawaii remains one of the most requested destinations.
Absolutely. Whether it's Oahu, Maui, Kauai, or the Big Island, Hawaii offers something for everyone. If you've been considering a Hawaii vacation, this is definitely a promotion worth exploring.
That wraps up our first segment. Coming up next, we'll talk Caribbean hurricane season, Norwegian Cruise Line's new Great Tides water park, whether the Haven is worth the splurge, the top river cruise lines for 2026 and 2027, and an amazing AMA Waterways Christmas Markets offer. We'll be right back.
They've literally traveled millions of miles to answer your travel-related questions. Yeah, they really have. You're listening to the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show, presented by BluePlanetVacations.com, America's best travel advisors. We'll be right back.
Inside Travel Talk is brought to you by AMA Waterways. From castles and capitals to vistas and villages, visit some of Europe's most remarkable sites and cities. To set out on your own river cruise journey, contact Blue Planet Vacations at 888-718-7717 or blueplanetvacations.com.
Now, back to the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show, presented by BluePlanetVacations.com, America's best travel advisors. Call or text the show right now, 801-649-3700, 801-649-3700, and check out the podcast at InsideTravelTalk.com.
Welcome back to Inside Travel Talk. We're moving into our cruise segment, and we've got a lot to cover. Mark, our first story is very timely because we've officially entered hurricane season in the Caribbean.
We have. And whenever hurricane season begins, travelers start asking whether they should cancel Caribbean vacations. My answer is usually no.
That surprises some people.
It does. The reality is that millions of travelers successfully visit the Caribbean during hurricane season every year. The key is understanding the risks and planning appropriately. One advantage is pricing. Hurricane season often brings some of the best travel values of the year. Cruises, resorts, and vacation packages frequently offer attractive discounts.
So there's a trade-off.
Exactly. Lower prices in exchange for accepting a little more weather uncertainty. The most important recommendation I have is travel insurance. This is especially important during hurricane season. If weather impacts your plans, travel insurance can provide valuable protection and flexibility.
What about cruises specifically?
Cruise lines are incredibly good at adjusting itineraries. Their priority is safety. If a storm develops, ships often reroute to alternative destinations. Passengers may not visit the exact islands originally planned, but they still enjoy their vacation.
And weather forecasts today are much better than they used to be.
Absolutely. Cruise lines have sophisticated meteorological teams monitoring storms continuously.
Our second cruise news story involves Norwegian Cruise Line. The company has announced the opening date for the Great Tides Water Park at Great Stirrup Cay.
This is part of a broader trend we're seeing across the cruise industry. Cruise lines are investing heavily in their private destinations because passengers absolutely love them. Private islands provide beautiful beaches, controlled environments, excellent amenities, and unique experiences designed specifically for cruise guests.
Tell us about Great Tides Water Park.
The new water park adds another layer of excitement to Great Stirrup Cay. Families will especially appreciate the slides, splash areas, and activities designed for all ages. The goal is creating a destination that's much more than simply a beach stop. It becomes a major attraction in itself.
It feels like cruise lines are competing to create the most impressive private destinations.
They absolutely are. When guests look back on a cruise, private islands are often among their favorite memories. That's why cruise companies continue investing billions into these experiences.
Let's move to our caller question. Julia called asking whether it's worth spending extra money for Norwegian Cruise Line's Haven category. You've sailed in the Haven multiple times.
I have, and my answer is yes. If the budget allows, I believe the Haven is one of the best premium cruise experiences available.
Explain the ship within a ship concept.
The Haven occupies a private section of the ship with keycard access. Guests enjoy exclusive areas including lounges, sun decks, pools on some ships, concierge services, and private dining. The beauty is that you still have access to everything the larger ship offers. You get Broadway-style entertainment, you get activities, you get multiple restaurants, You get the energy of a large cruise ship, but when you want a quieter luxury experience, you retreat into the haven.
Almost like having two vacations at once.
Exactly. One thing I particularly love is the Haven restaurant. It's outstanding. Service is exceptional, and the food quality consistently impresses me. I don't know if it's still on every menu, but I've said for years that their French dip sandwich at lunch was one of the best I've ever had.
That's high praise.
It really is. The Haven also includes priority embarkation, concierge assistance, and a level of personalized service that many travelers appreciate. For special occasions, anniversaries, milestone birthdays, or bucket list cruises, I think it's absolutely worth considering.
Now, for our main cruise topic, U.S. News recently released its rankings of the best river cruise lines for 2026 and 2027. River cruising continues to grow rapidly.
It does because it offers a completely different experience than ocean cruising. River cruises place travelers directly in the heart of destinations. You're not docking miles away from town. Often you step off the ship and immediately begin exploring.
Let's run through the list.
Number 1 is AMA Waterways. Number 2 is Viking. Number 3 is UniWorld. Number 4 is Avalon Waterways. Number 5 is Talk. Number 6 is Scenic. Number 7 is Riverside Luxury Cruises. Number 8 is Emerald Cruises. Number 9 is Riviera Travel. And number 10 is Croise Europe.
That's an impressive group.
It really is. Each line has strengths. Viking offers broad itineraries and excellent cultural programming. UniWorld is known for luxury and distinctive ship design. Talk provides outstanding service and inclusions. Scenic delivers a very upscale experience. Emerald often provides excellent value.
But if you had to choose favorites?
AMA Waterways and Avalon Waterways. AMA Waterways is ranked number 1, and I completely understand why. Their service is outstanding. Dining is exceptional. The onboard experience feels warm and welcoming. They do an excellent job balancing luxury with accessibility. Justin, one thing I particularly like is their active excursion program. They offer guided bike rides, hiking options, and more active experiences in addition to traditional tours.
And Avalon.
Avalon has some of the most innovative cabin designs in river cruising. Their panorama suites maximize river views and create a more open feeling. I also like their flexibility. Travelers can choose from different excursion styles depending on interests and activity levels.
For someone who has never taken a river cruise, why should they consider one?
Because it combines the best aspects of cruising and land touring. You unpack once. The scenery changes constantly. You visit multiple destinations, the pace is relaxed, and you're immersed in local culture. Many river cruises include castle visits, historic towns, and culinary experiences. It's one of the most enjoyable ways to see Europe.
That brings us perfectly to our cruise deal of the week. AMA Waterways is currently offering Christmas season savings.
This is an outstanding promotion. Limited capacity sailings are offering up to $2,000 off plus free airfare on select sailings. So for anyone who has ever dreamed about European Christmas markets, this is worth serious consideration.
Christmas markets are magical.
They really are. Picture historic town squares filled with lights, music, handcrafted gifts, roasted chestnuts, and holiday traditions that have existed for centuries. It feels like stepping into a Christmas movie.
What are some of your favorite Christmas market destinations?
Nuremberg is incredible. Strasbourg is often called the capital of Christmas. Vienna is spectacular. Budapest is beautiful. Cologne is wonderful. There are so many great options.
Highlight a couple AMA Waterways itineraries.
One of my favorites is the enchanting Christmas markets itinerary on the Danube. You visit destinations such as Budapest, Vienna, and several charming smaller towns. Every stop offers a unique holiday atmosphere. Another excellent choice is the Christmas markets on the Rhine itinerary. That sailing visits places like Cologne, Rudesheim, and Strasbourg. The combination of festive markets, historic architecture, and river scenery creates an unforgettable vacation.
And free airfare certainly helps.
Absolutely. When you combine airfare savings with the holiday experience, it becomes a tremendous value.
We've covered a lot today, so let's wrap things up. This week we started with Mark's return from Norway and a discussion about family history travel. We talked about seat selection mistakes and the importance of researching aircraft before choosing your seat. We learned why ginger ale tastes so good on airplanes and discussed the growing popularity of overwater bungalows beyond traditional South Pacific destinations. We answered Marcus's question about visiting Pearl Harbor. Our travel deal of the week was Delta Vacations Hawaii promotion, featuring up to $250 off, and bonus Sky Miles through June 30th. We talked about Norwegian Cruise Line's new Great Tides water park at Great Stirrup Cay, and how cruise lines continue investing in their private island destinations. We answered Julia's question about the Haven, and why Mark believes the ship-within-a-ship concept is worth the extra investment. We reviewed the top river cruise lines for 2026 and 2027 and explored why river cruising remains one of the best ways to experience Europe. And finally, our cruise deal of the week highlighted AMA Waterways Christmas Market sailings featuring free airfare and special savings. And remember, if you'd like help planning your next vacation, cruise, family history trip, or river cruise, contact Blue Planet Vacations at 888-718-7717. I'll leave you with this quote from author Freya Stark. Travel does what good novelists also do to the life of every day, placing it like a picture in a frame and making us aware of the value of things that happen. Thanks for listening to Inside Travel Talk. We'll see you next time.
That's it. That's the end of the show. You've been listening to the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show, presented by BluePlanetVacations.com. Book your adventure right now. Call 888-718-7717. That's 888-718-7717. Thanks for listening. Have a great week.